guys, welcome back. Ep.2 of the We Racing podcast. I hope you're all doing well. I'm excited to be back. Excited to have another good 20 minutes to half hour in-depth chat with Matt about what we're going to be looking forward to in the next week. Obviously, if you don't know already, I'm Jason. I do social media for We Racing. And Matt, do you introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm running the P1 the races for you racing during the season.
So you'll get tired of seeing our faces. We're going to be here every week, uploading just to give you guys an insight at what we're doing at Re-Racing, Formula One chat, and all the other racing news.
Exactly.
Just before we dive in, let's hear a quick word from one of our partners.
The race season comes to an end, so it's a good time to mention our partner, the Racing Line. If you want to stay connected during the break, this app is honestly perfect. It brings together live streams for more than 100 racing series across the world. It converts every practice, quali and race to your local time, and it sends instant alerts so you'll never miss the action. You can follow your favorite teams, drivers and championships in one clean place. Give the Racing Line a try and make the off-season feel a bit shorter.
So Matt, obviously, as I mentioned, it's been a week since we last caught up. How have you been?
I'm very well. I was pretty surprised how this week went through.
In what sense?
Oh, it's very quickly, and a lot happened as well in F1 and in our team as well.
Yes, it's been a hectic week from all angles. To be honest, it doesn't stop there. Obviously, we've got a little event tomorrow which we'll touch on for those of you who don't know. But yeah, no, obviously excited to be back doing the second episode. How do you think the first one went?
I think it went very well. I had really good conversation with you, and I hope our listeners enjoyed that as well.
Yeah, I think the main thing I've noticed that people are going to take from this podcast, aside from the sort of major racing news, is just getting a good insight as to what we do as a brand and what we are looking to offer to the world. So guys, don't forget to follow, don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, share, send it to a friend, get them to watch, drop a comment, and we look forward to meeting you guys.
Exactly. Only if you like it, but if you don't like it, you have to do it anyway.
That's it. Tell him again. Okay, so jumping straight in, today just wanted to talk about the event that we have got tomorrow. And I say we very literally this time because me and you are actually going to be behind the wheel. Do you want to tell us something about
that? I haven't been in a go-kart racing go-kart for over a year. I would say maybe even 2 years. So I'm really excited. Yeah, Phil asked me to jump in a team in replacement of Marcin to do a couple of laps at the last race of the season. They don't have much to lose from We Racing One perspective. They don't have much to gain, but so that's why we're just gonna go for it and have fun. But how are you? Are you happy to joining the track with Eamon?
Well, I've been out of a go-kart for a lot longer than you have, to be fair. I probably haven't been in a go-kart in like 5-6 years, but
oh wow.
I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it, to be honest. I'm just hoping I don't let the team down too much, but I'm sure we can pull a good result for all three teams.
Yeah, but we approaching this race. I think We Racing One, me and Phil and yourself with Eamon, we're approaching it for fun. I know that Clay and Harley, they have something to fight for because they still can, advance in the championship. So I'm really hoping that they will. I'm really happy to be back in racing, especially in these conditions, because, I'm the heavier guy. So if you're heavier in slippery conditions, you have a bit of advantage because the mechanical grip is much higher. So I'm really hoping not to let down Phil tomorrow.
That's it with me. I'm one of the heavier boys as well, so I'm hoping that plays in my favor, and I'm just hoping I can stay out of the way, of the faster guys, and not get in anyone's way. But no, I'm looking forward to it. It should be good. It's just 2-hour endurance, so another longer race for the team, which we've already said that we're going to work towards and keep on building on in 2026. Just touching on that, I know we touched on it last week a little bit. 2026, obviously, like I say, lots happened this week. Mm-hmm. In regards to We Racing and what we're looking to do next year from a team driver perspective, what does that look like? Are we looking to keep the same sort of drivers, the teams together? Are we looking at mixing up teams? Are we going to add a third team in?
Yeah, so there's no. We definitely keeping our drivers and Three Sisters as a training ground. As I mentioned last week, I don't think we'll be pushing that much effort into the team endurance, simply because it's too big lottery, and the drivers are getting frustrated when the go-kart is not really good, and you have to pay money, and you're getting the machinery that is not really fast, or other way around, the other teams that are getting much quicker go-karts. So that's why we will be moving more into the individual endrances, and obviously we'll do a couple of team endrances to prepare for bigger events like 24-hour races, 10-hour or 12-hour races. So when it comes to the drivers, we are keeping it as it is. We are also keeping on minds open, because you never know, maybe someone who is very quick would like to join us, and obviously our door is open. Anyone can send us an email, and obviously we'll look at the candidature.
Excellent. You heard it here first, guys. If you think you're quick enough, drop Matt an email. He's the final boss. Drop him an email. Drop him your lap times, and you might get yourself into the blue and white for next year.
Yeah, I'll put the email on the screen right now, so you will see it in front of you. Just drop us a message, and we'll see what we can do for you.
Perfect. Talking about drivers, F1. It's time for the F1 chat this week. A lot has happened.
Yeah.
A lot has happened that shouldn't have happened. In fact, if we start there, obviously the big story of the McLarens and the plankware, which took me a little bit by surprise, but not so much by surprise when I look at their performance. What did you think of that?
So I was actually, I've noticed it straight away, because I was watching the studio, let's say, before the race happened, and on the warm-up laps you could already see that both McLarens were leaving much more sparks than the other drivers and other cars. That already made me thinking they must be running the cars very low, because the purposing in the car is much greater than the others as well, or maybe the suspension was much softer. That's why Lando maybe was able to put such a great time in qualifying. But I already then knew that something is happening. So when they've announced that they actually, on both cars, the plank was not thick enough, I think it's 8 millimeters minimum that it has to be, or 9, I don't remember that right now. I wasn't that much of surprise, because I already knew something is going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for me from that is what did the setup of the car look like in the previous races leading up to this point? Because I know that we've been made aware there was a heating device of some sort that had been used in the previous race to stop plank wear,
Water in
etc.
tires, I've heard about this as well.
Yeah, all of that kind of stuff that's obviously been brought to light. Obviously, I know the FIA told the drivers and the teams to stop using that. My big question is, how long has this been going on? Because McLaren clearly have had the fastest car, one of the fastest cars this year for the majority of the season. Obviously, they probably had the fastest car back end of last season as well. But I struggle to believe that a team as far ahead as McLaren and as seemingly switched on as McLaren make a mistake like this. Because I know obviously Ferrari did it in China, but again, I don't think that their kind of strategical setup is on the same kind of level, if I'm completely honest. So I wonder how long something like this has been going on.
So what I think would happen is they might be using this protective device to protect the plank on the races, but because the Max's car may shorten the distance to McLaren so quickly, they had to maybe risk it, or maybe they just put a bit too much on the suspension. So that's why it was the result of the Las Vegas race. As far as I know, FIA unofficially, obviously, is saying that they will be having a closer look at McLaren's in the last 2 races. So I'm wondering if it will not hit McLaren significantly, that they will not be able to defend the championship against Max. Because as I said last week, Max won the race, and now he's only 24 points behind Lando Norris. It's 1 win. So if the Lando will DNF and Max will win again, they are on equal points, almost equal points in Abu Dhabi.
Yeah, I mean, which I want to see personally,
Yeah.
just for some excitement factor. But yeah, I mean, it's a bit of a tough watch because you see again, Max. Obviously, we're talking drivers' championship, but he has been a one driver team basically this year.
Yeah.
But for them to have such a lead, whether it was Oscar at one point and then Lando at one point to have such a lead, for Max to even really be able to catch up and potentially go par on points, if he does do that and he does win or he does go, it's complete capitulation from McLaren in my opinion, because you've had everything you needed to see this over the line. You've only really done it to yourselves, which is
Yeah.
me onto the driver preferences that everyone's been talking about. Has Oscar just forgotten how to drive? I don't really think so.
Yeah, Andrea Stella already apologized after the race for what happened for both McLarens, and I've seen some, let's say, conspiracy theories saying that FIA is trying to make the last race of the season as interesting as possible. I don't think it's FIA fault because, well, technical regulations are the same for everyone and they're measurable. So if someone is just 1 micrometer or 1 millimeter below the limit, it's obvious that they haven't met the criteria. So that's why the car, even if they didn't gain any advantage, they just disqualified. The same happened with Hamilton few years ago in Brazil when the DRS was opening too wide, and he had to start from the back of the grid. People were saying then the FIA is trying to make races as interesting as possible. I don't think it's FIA fault. I think it's just the teams are pushing cars too much sometimes.
Yeah, I think in the final stint of the season, especially with it being so close on points, it would make sense that the teams are going to try and get every single millimeter out of that car, try and get
Yeah.
every single pound of downforce that they possibly can out of that car. Um, but I think, again, from a F1 fan point of view, it's going to be a good finish to the season. I can't wait to watch it. I think the I've been team Oscar since day one,
Hmm.
out of the two. And not to be a conspiracy theorist, but I think that the drop off from Oscar's performances, especially before summer break to after summer break,
Hmm.
obviously it's possible, but I just can't see it being that vast that he's that far behind and that slow without there being a little something. And we do know going back through the years that teams do favor a driver or another. That's just a fact. It does happen. Which is obviously quite disappointing. You want to, be able to see them race, and especially before they won the team championship, I wanted to see them race. Obviously, I think they've stopped some good showings this year, but we can only say fair play to Max, though, can't we, for his performance
Yeah.
last week?
Yeah, absolutely. Max has done everything that he has to do. Even Lando was trying, to some dirty moves a bit on the first lap,
On the
on the
start.
first corner, actually on the start. And then Max was, just more experience with fighting on the front, and he just overdrive them. Basically, it looked like once again as Lando mistake that the people in grassroots racing are doing, or even in lower series. He just was played off very quickly by Max. Max just drove away and had no rivals through the whole race.
Yeah, I think we've seen a habit of that with Lando this year and last year, starting from pole, or at least on the front row, and his that first lap, that first part of the lap, he needs to improve on because it's let him down so many times in the last year and a half. Um, it's a little bit of a joke. He definitely needs to focus on that at some point between now and next season. Um, Talking about next season, hearing rumors again, the conspiracy theorists that Ferrari aren't the happiest with Hamilton.
I even heard, so obviously it's not confirmed anywhere, but when Hamilton was moving to Ferrari, Ferrari promised him that they will make a special car called F44 to, to make him happy, to make sure that he will move to Ferrari. Yesterday, I've heard they completely scrapped the project. So
Oh
now the
wow.
question is if Hamilton will be racing there next season, because if it will be breach of the contract, and Hamilton is openly saying that this season was the worst in his career, and it's just first season in Ferrari, what's the point of continuing if after first 3 races next season the Ferrari will be crap? What's the point?
Yeah, yeah. I think I've seen things that about Behrman. obviously going up to the Ferrari seat if Hamilton does move on. Obviously, don't know how true that is. Behrman's put in a good performance this season as one of the rookies. So I don't think it would be a step too big for him. I just think would he have the same problem that the second Red Bull driver always has, which is going into a team that is very potentially stubborn, if that's the word you want to use, and obviously trying to drive the car around that. But I don't think it'd be too big of a step. But obviously, then it leaves the question: does Lewis stay in F1, or does he go to a different team, or what does that look like?
Personally, I don't think Lewis will go anywhere else, unless Aston Martin will become one of the best teams with Adrian Newey on board. It's possible. I'm not really sure if Hamilton will be interested in trying once again, because he's trying since 2021 to get his 8th title, and he said it openly as well that after his 8th title he will just retire, because on the horizon you can't really see any other drivers that will beat this record of the most championships scored in a career. So I don't think Hamilton will go anywhere after Ferrari, unless it will be dominant car, and the team obviously will be willing to pay significant money for Hamilton.
Yeah, it's a sticky situation, isn't it? Because again, like you say, he's going to want to go to a dominant car, which you'd expect, 7-time world champion. But then from a team perspective, you've got a 40-odd-year-old driver coming to the end of his career. There's so much new talent coming into the sport. So many drivers that are at sort of mid table teams that could potentially make that step up. Would you want to splash the big, especially seeing what's just happened at Ferrari, if he does part of Ferrari, to splash the big check on him at that point? Obviously, from a branding perspective and all of that stuff, it's very different, you know, with all the rights and stuff. But purely on the track and driving and things like that, I think any team would be lucky to have him in terms of his skill set. But as a driver, are you going to put that kind of money on someone in his parameters? I'm not too sure.
Well, we can only wait and find out. You know, we will see. Next season is starting in 4-5 months. So I think we'll have very clear situation after the first 2 races, who is on top and who is struggling.
Yeah, and again, it's all about the regs. You know, Ferrari could come out the blocks fast with the new regs, hit the ground running, and it would be a completely different conversation. Obviously,
it could be also a disaster.
It could also be a disaster. So, yeah, touch wood, fingers crossed, Ferrari can buck up their ideas. But as it stands now, still unfortunately going into the last 2 races, they're not doing too well. What I wanted to do make a prediction. We'll do a little prediction, and then when we meet up next week, we'll see how far we've come. So, what I want us to predict: who's going to be on pole for qualifying, who's going to win the race, and which driver do you think, if any, is going to DNF? Those 3.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So the Qatar race is very, very weird because the tire degradation is massive. That's why they've introduced a 25 lap limit for each compound. So that gives that they will definitely have to do 2 stops, or not, if not 3, because if they will use 2 hard compounds, they will have to use, for example, medium. You never know if medium will last, or maybe if someone will get a puncture or anything like that, maybe they have to change hards. And if they're getting only 2 sets of hard compounds, they don't have any more. So we might see 3, maybe even 4 pit stops. So there is one driver who thrives in these conditions, and it's Max Verstappen. So I think Max Verstappen will be dominating whole weekend. He will definitely score pole position, and he will definitely win the race. That's my opinion. Who will DNF? The heart would say Lando, but we will see about this. This track has seen a couple of crashes. One of the Astons might not finish this race.
Okay, interesting. So we've got one of the Astons DNF, Max pole, Max win from Matt. Yeah, I'm gonna go George Russell on pole. I'm gonna go Max winner. And one of the drivers to DNF, I'm gonna go for. Now I want to go for Bortoletto because he's having a bit of a bad streak, but I think I'm gonna ease off him. I'm gonna go Yuki.
Yeah, that is possible. Although he swapped a lot of parts recently, so I don't think it might be the engine problem or technical problems, because he have pretty fresh power unit, unless they will put the old one for some reason. But no, this truck actually requires quite a bit of power from the engine. But yeah, we'll see. Although I've heard the rumors coming out of the predictions topic. Sorry, that the last 4 races, Yuki was or testing on the races, literally on the races, because he knows that he will not achieve anything, or testing the parts, or they've done something wrong with suspension, they've put them on the wrong strategy, etc. So I've heard that the Red Bull is struggling to point out if Yuki is really that bad, or they basically that team is not able to deliver car good enough for him to show off his skills, which in a V Cub or previously, sorry, not Toro Rosso, the second Red Bull team,
The Racing Bulls.
Racing Bulls. There you go. We have seen him scoring really high positions. He moved to Red Bull, and all of a sudden he's crap. It's not the driver issue, it's the car issue, but it's not the issue from the Max Verstappen perspective, because it's a car that he likes to drive, and all the drivers might struggle with it. That's why they have this problem, and they're just waiting for the next season.
What do you think Red Bull are going to do with their second driver seat?
So we definitely will. Well, I think the fight at the moment is between Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda. Max will definitely stay in Red Bull. Haja might be promoted to Red Bull next year if Yuki will leave. We have also Liam Lawson, as I mentioned before, and we have also Lingard, who will be promoted next season. Rumors are saying that he will be promoted next season to one of the Red Bull teams. And the question is if he will drop him straight away in the Red Bull, or they will give him the Racing Bull seats. That's the question. Apparently, they will take a decision very soon, within next week. So we will see. I really don't want to see Yuki Tsunoda living on these conditions that he had at the moment, because I know he's a good driver. I know he have a conversation with different series and different teams, but I would like to see him in F1 because he is really good driver. He just don't have machinery to show his skills.
Yeah, I think it's a shame for Yuki, because I think before, maybe last season and a half ago, I think he was still refining his skills. You could see he was a quick driver, but you could see there was quite a lot he still had to learn. And I think over the last kind of year and a half, he's really refined his skills to being a good level driver.
Yeah.
I just think it's a shame now that he's in that second Red Bull, but we've seen how much of a career killer that second Red Bull seat is. And that's the other thing when we talk about Liam Lawson, it's very rare, if not happened, I believe, that Red Bull demote and then re-promote. They tend to demote.
Never happened.
And once they demote,
Gasly was demoted. Albon was demoted. Someone else, I don't remember.
I think Lawson was
demoted. Yeah, there you go. So I don't think they will bring him back. If he will stay in Racing Bulls.
Yeah, I think Lawson won't go. Obviously, I think Yuki. It depends on what the car's going to look like again next year. Like we say, we always come back to this. It's new regs, new car, new everything. We'll see what it is. I think some teams can afford to wait until testing. Some teams are going to have to make a decision sort of way before then. So, it'll be interesting to see.
I have a question. I have a question to you. Coming back to Las Vegas, did you wake up for the race?
I did wake up for the race.
How early did you have to wake up for the race? Did you wake up just for the start, or you were watching before?
I woke up at like 3:20, 3:30.
Yeah, same. Something like that. Did you survive to the podium?
Did I survive to the podium? I did.
So, have you seen the Mickey Mouse show?
I have seen it, yeah.
How cringe was that? And not only cringe, I found out it wasn't even live. It was pre-recorded.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. Yeah.
I've seen the videos where people were literally recording their TV when they were in Las Vegas watching the race from the hotels. And it was pre-recorded. Now the question is, I understand it's entertainment, but was it really necessary?
I think yes and no. I think it was necessary in the sense of I think Ted from F1 might have said it, but he was saying, if this was Austria or Spa or somewhere like that, it wouldn't be acceptable. It's not something that you'd look to do. But because it's Vegas, that show and that's the whole point and the vibe of
Yeah.
Vegas. So from that sense and marketing sense, from all of that, it makes sense. I think the person who made the choice that it was going to be Mickey doing the performance, they need to get fired. They need to get fired, them guys. But I think I can understand the show. I can understand the bit behind it. I don't think it was very appropriate, would you say? We don't think fitting,
Yeah.
matching, whatever word you want to use
Yeah.
for it. But yeah, like I say, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. So.
Yeah, I had a conversation with someone on LinkedIn about this actually, and they said their daughter was actually enjoying the Mickey Mouse show after the Vegas. But I had another question. If she was enjoying the show and was watching a bit of the whole race and enjoyed the Mickey Mouse after all, wouldn't it create the wrong impression that it will be happening in every race? Something that this kid who is finding out the sport that maybe he will follow, maybe not. Shouldn't we be giving them reality, what's actually happening, instead of just one-off show? I understand maybe some, the F1 fans, they're not following a whole circus week on and week out. So the question is, what they will do next time?
Yeah, I can't see them ever changing that with Vegas. I think it will always be the big glitz and the glamour and the show. I do think that they'll probably take feedback from people, social media, everything, and just kind of maybe next year try and refine it a little bit. Because some of the things they've done this year have been really good. Like, for example, like the Lego cars were really good. They did the race.
It was Miami.
Miami, yeah,
Miami
they did
this year, yeah.
And they did a one a couple of weeks ago, I believe, as well, in some of the other cars that they brought. So there's been a few things that they've done beforehand that have actually been quite good. This just wasn't one of them. So yeah, we'll not hopefully knock this one on the head and not see this one again. But just going back to your point on obviously feeding into that reality of F1, I do get what you mean in terms of obviously setting that kind of standard, but I think if you are going to start watching F1, you'll very quickly realize that it is, special. There are some races that are more special than others in the kind of, your Monacos, your Vegases, your Miamis, those kind of ones. And they're the ones you're likely to get those big kind of shows from, as opposed to some more of like the traditional tracks. Let's call it.
Yeah, I agree. Like Monza, they have their own show. It's a whole Italian, all Italian people that are storming the grid after the race finish in front of the podium. So yeah, I agree with you. Okay, that's fair enough. It's one of even of the year that is giving us this kind of shows. Might not be enjoyed by every single person, but we have what we have.
That's it. Yeah, that's it for sure. I guess the aim is just a bit like we racing, isn't it? Inclusivity. So for the hardcore racers, we want to see hardcore racing, but for some more casual viewing, just keeps eyes on screen. So yeah, no, good for that.
Fair enough.
But yeah, obviously, coming to the end of the show, Qatar next, this weekend. Saying Qatar this weekend. Also, we've got our predictions in place. Luckily, it's not a 3:00 wake up call again this weekend. Thank God for that. But yeah, I mean, is there anything just before we close out that you want the listeners, the watchers, to kind of know or to kind of be thinking about before we speak to them again?
Well, at this time tomorrow, we will be in the go-karts already, I think. So yeah, cross your fingers, cross everything. Well, maybe triple podium. I doubt it, but hopefully.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, we'll see, guys. Yeah, thank you so much for listening once again. Follow our journey. The season is coming to an end tomorrow, but we're not finishing racing for this year. We still have couple of things to do, and well, let's see you on the track in March next year.
Thanks for listening, guys. See you soon.
Thank you. See you.